Okay, so welcome back. If you watched tutorial 1, this is going to be tutorial number 2. So I'm just going to run through this here. Today we're going to be handling or editing Blade from the Marvel Universe action figure line. He's one of the 3.75 or 4-inch figures, and this is for that scale of the books from Flip Studio. So this is the abandoned Carnival, which is found in book number 1. It's kind of a spooky vibe, which I think is kind of cool for a character like Blade because, you know, he's a vampire hunter, right? So where else, you know, it just seems fitting. Like there could be some vampire guys lurking in a place like this. So he's coming here to clean up shop, you know. So, but yeah, let's jump to it. So, if you didn't see the last video, you know, I kind of briefly talk about some of the effects that I have that I use that are super easy to make. I'm going to make a tutorial on how to create these yourself. These are just some different special effects that you'll see come into play in just a minute. They're all kind of transparent and they'll lay on top of the image, but we'll get to that. All right, so what you want to do, first of all, we're going to select our image here of Blade. And we're going to utilize some of these Photoshop tools. If you do not have Photoshop, they have websites that have free photo editing, such as, I think it's called Photopea. I might not be saying that right, but you can use apps like that that can help you edit these photos. But I'm using Photoshop for this tutorial. So let's see. So we're going to click this main image here. Okay. And the first thing we want to do is we're going to get this little selection tool here. It's a quick select tool, and up here there is a button that says select subject. It usually does very good at knowing what you want. It's going to choose a central point of the picture that's clear, and it's going to assume that's going to be the subject, and it's going to select it. So we're going to do that. I'm just going to give it a second. These tools, yeah, look at that. It just knew to crop him out. Look, even in the arm areas, around the little cape down here at the bottom, or his jacket, it does really good. I'm happy with that. So already I'm going to Control C or Command C if you're on Mac. I'm going to be talking in Windows fashion, so but you can do Control C to copy and Control Shift V to paste. The reason I chose to do the Shift key is because that will paste it exactly where it lies. Sometimes if you do Control C, Control V, it can paste it slightly off to the side or off center, but if you press that Shift, Control Shift V, it'll paste it exactly where it lies. So that's what we want. We don't want him to move. For example, if it would have pasted him a little to the side, you can see what happens there, right? So I'm gonna undo that. You want him to be exactly right here. Okay, so now that we got him on his own layer, we're gonna choose the layer behind him. And I'm going to get this little square marquee tool, and I'm just going to highlight this spiral binding. Now, I talked about this spiral binding in the last video. If you just want to understand the importance behind it, maybe I'll do a video just kind of explaining how these things work and why, you know, I chose the things I did when creating these books. But for now, the goal in this image, we're going to remove that spiral binding right there. So we're going to highlight it again. Make sure you're on this back layer. We're going to highlight that spiral binding, and we're going to just click in this generative fill area. That just lets it know, hey, we want to do some generative filling here. But we're not going to type any prompt. We're just going to come over here and we're going to leave it default or blank and just hit generate. Let it come up with what it thinks best for this image. So let's give this a second. It's going to give us 2 or 3 different options to choose from, and usually I can find what I'm looking for within those 3 options. I mean, that already looks pretty good, but let's see what it gets. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. You know, just because I don't want to spend all day on it, I'll just go with something like this one. This one's fine. If you don't like it, just hit generate again, and it'll create, you know, 3 more options. Pardon my coughing. We got a little sickness in the house today, so bear with me. Okay, so I like what I see here, so I'm going to click that layer, and I'm going to hold Shift and click the, I'm sorry, we're going to click that layer and hold Control, and we're going to click the layer right under it. And I'm going to press Command E to flatten those together. All right, so now that is permanent. That's part of the picture. All right, so already it looks good. Technically, you could be finished right now and you already got a cool shot. But I want to demonstrate here how we can take it another step, kind of give it that cinematic look, if you will. And that's where these little background effects that I have come into play. So, you know, a scene like this, I see it being kind of a foggy. It looks like there's some fog in the distance. You know, let's bring some of that to the foreground. Surround him with a little bit of that fog, right? So I have some special effects here. Let's see. Let me go with, what do I have? What do I have? I'm trying to create some as well for myself. I'm actually missing one that I was looking for. I think I accidentally deleted it. So let's go with cloud. All right, so I'm going to choose cloud. I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard while I click and drag this up here. So first I'm going to put it behind him. So let me hit OK on that. Okay. Got an error there. Sorry. And the reason I'm holding Alt when I drag it up here is because that creates a copy of it. When you hold Alt and drag something, it creates a copy of it. I don't want to overwrite something that I want to keep, which apparently I've done by accident because I've deleted the one that I was looking for. All right, but in any case, we got this one. So I'm going to just kind of manipulate the shape of this kind of foggy texture back here, right? So I'm going to put that behind him. Now that's behind him because I have it under that layer, right? So now I'm going to click this. And I'm going to hold Alt and I'm going to drag a copy above him as well. That way it's in front of him. So over here, let's maybe, I don't know, let's bring this down here. If you don't want it to be the same, you can always flip it just to kind of change it a little bit, shrink it, play with the sizing. Yeah, let's put it like this here. All right, that's not bad. But what stands out here? I would say something that stands out to me is that Blade looks a little different from his background, his color, right? It doesn't look like he's in that lighting. So let's look at a layer like generative fill layer, right? That's our main picture. We want layer 1 to match the color of the generative fill layer, right? So he looks like he belongs. So we're going to select layer 1, which is Blade, and we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, and we're going to go to Match Color. Now first you have to tell it, okay, what do you want to match it to? So we're going to go down here to the source. Let's go to this file. That's the name of the document we're working with. And then we're going to go down to the generative fill layer. All right, so obviously that's way too blue. And that's where you can come in here and kind of, you know, fade it. You can just bring it. As you can see me sliding this bar, you can see Blade over there getting more blue or more dark, or his tone is changing. So just kind of find that sweet spot that kind of looks like he's in that lighting, if you will. That one's actually, it's not bad. Luminance, I might darken them up just a little bit. It's kind of a dark night, if you will. All right, so there we go. So now he kind of fits the scene a little better. Yeah, we got some special effects, fog in there, but still not quite doing it for me. So let's go down here and let's add some more effects. I mean, this is really where it comes in. This moonlight particles, let's do that. I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to click it and I'm going to drag a copy above his layer. Actually, I'll just move it to the top. It's going to kind of give that, I don't know, that little nighttime tone to it. But I want it to kind of go over him so it puts him more in the scene, if that makes sense. All right, that's not bad. It might be a bit strong, so I'm going to take the opacity of that layer down. So if I bring it all the way down, you know, it makes it disappear. But let's bring it up just a little bit into view here. It just creates more of that foggy night, right? Kind of buries him in the middle of this environment. And really, you can just keep adding whatever effects you want to your heart's content, right? So like sun rays, okay? It's not a sunny day, but let me show you what you can do. You can always drag a copy of, say, some sun rays, and you can bring it up here. And the light source seemed to have been, you know, coming from the right hand side, so I'm gonna flip that. I'm gonna put these rays up here, It's kind of one of those spooky nights. Let's make it a little bigger. It's kind of one of those spooky full moon nights, like a werewolf's going to come out, even though we're talking about vampires. Yeah, so let's do that. Now, obviously, they're yellow because they're sun rays, right? But that's the beauty of this. We can come in. We can shift them to whatever color we want. If you wanted it to be more of a green spooky night or kind of a purple, I don't know, whatever you're feeling. You could also just desaturate it and it becomes more of a white light. You can brighten it, you darken it, whatever. I'm thinking something like that looks pretty good. It's a subtle touch, but if I hide it, you see that it's gone. Like, you can tell the difference, so it does make a difference. Now let's just say you feel like this is a little bit too much on Blade. You're like, you know, I don't want to completely hide my figure. That's where you can press Shift E to cycle through your different types of eraser tools, but I'm just using the standard eraser here. And you want not a hard, but a soft brush. And this is an eraser tool. I'm just going to click on each of these and I'm gonna remove a little from his face. I don't know if you can see what I just did. Maybe from his details, like his chest. Here's the moonlight. I could remove it from his face a little bit more. Kind of makes him a little bit more of the focal point, right? So it's not too covered by effects. But I think that looks pretty good. It's not bad. So since I'm personally satisfied with this, and again, you can add whatever effects you want. You can go as long as you want. I'm going to select the top layer, and I'm going to go down here and hold Shift and select the bottom. When you hold Shift, it's going to select everything between the first and last one you choose. So I'm going to select all of those, and I'm going to say Control E. Again, that's going to merge all that together. We now have a flat image. And at this point, this is where we can go one step further and kind of add that movie element to it. I'm going to go to Adjustments, and I like to play with, you know, my levels. I like to bring the darks out a little bit. I don't know why, not much. I just like to bump them. You could bring the lights out if you want. Okay, let's go back to Adjustments. Exposure. Some pictures it benefits to brighten it, but in this one it doesn't, so I'm gonna leave that one back at 0. We won't mess with that. Okay, and let's go back down to here. So I've made some changes here. I'm gonna go ahead and merge all of those together with the Control E. Back to a flat image. I like what I got. Now let's go to, let's see, what do we have? Where are my presets? Here we go. So under Adjustments and Presets, I like to use under Creative this little dark fade. Now, obviously that's drastic if you look and see what's happening over there. But I'm gonna go ahead and click it. That's too much. I don't want it that dark. So I'm gonna go up here to the mothership here. All these things are nested under it. If you collapse that, I'm gonna click this top one here, and I'm going to bring the opacity down on that effect. You can see if I take it down completely, it goes back to what we had, but I'm gonna start nudging it up until it feels, I don't know, like that effect I'm going for, the kind of movie effect, you know? And I think that looks pretty good right there. It feels more like we're looking at a scene out of a movie now. So if I like that, I'm going to highlight both of those, and I'm going to say Command E, merge them together. So that's final. We now have this image. And let's see, what do we have? We probably should add in. Now I like to add, and you can do this if you want to for the ones that you edit. I have a little ping file, a little logo that I've created. I like to just slap that up there, just to let people know this is my work. This is, you know, my action figure, my pose, yada yada. If others are going to be using these, it's just a way for you to stand out and let people know which one's yours. I like to make it a little transparent so that way you can still see some of that detail. You don't want this to be the main focus of the picture, so I like to fade it a little bit just so it's not the focal point, but it's there. But yeah, let me okay, so now I think this looks pretty good, and what I can do now is I can drag the original back in here and show you a before and after. So here's our before picture. As I always say, they look great just right out of the raw camera, but if you wanted to put the extra effort, you can make it look like a scene from a movie. So you can clearly see the difference, right? So this just looks more like, hey, here's during production on a movie set. Here's what it looks like after it goes through editing. It's like, yeah, here's our cool little spooky night shot. So, but yeah. So I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful to you. And this is from book number 1. What we're looking at here, and this was the Abandoned Carnival. I'd love to see some of the stuff you guys make with some of these backgrounds. These books are really cool. They have, I believe, 12 different scenes per book that you can do, and there's currently 5 books. So, but yeah, I'll come back with some tutorials on creating some of those special effects. They're very easy to make. I might even just, I don't know, find a place to host some of these files that you can download and just use them for your own images. But all right, until next time, thanks.